I did my project on something that I had no idea about. When Mr. Velez Ibanez told the class the story of his Irish childhood friend and how his dad was able to let the Irish boy date his sister because of the history the Irish had with Mexicans, I was a little confused. It just didn't sound right to me. Mexicans and Irish? What? So I had to figure out what the heck he was talking about, and this is what I've learned. During the 1800s, many Irish people were migrating to America, mainly because of a potato famine happening in Ireland, and also for a lot of other different reasons. It was around 1840, and everybody seemed to be coming into America. A lot of the Irish that came in were looking for money and hopes of U.S. citizenship, so they joined the U.S. Army. During this time, America was in the midst of the Mexican-American War, and war was very ugly. In the 1840s, living conditions for all soldiers were terrible. The Irish got the worst of it though. In the army, Irish soldiers were at the low of the ranks. They were looked down upon as lazy, and it was impossible to even think of an Irish soldier getting promoted and moving up within the military ranks. Irish were the ones with the worst job. They were treated unfairly. Aware of this mix between bad conditions and bad treatment of the Irish soldiers, Mexican generals started trying to convince many Irish soldiers to betray the U.S. Army and join the Mexican side with promises of money and land. It was not uncommon in these times for soldiers to desert their country. It happened quite frequently. Therefore, it was not hard to accept these offers given all the different circumstances. To leave the country that you were rudely unwelcome to join the Mexican forces where they treated you as a hero, that was an easy choice. Not only were the offers extremely enticing, but the Irish who came from a poor and primarily Catholic country probably felt more of a connection with the Mexicans and their values. So with the culmination of around 200, the Irish deserters became the St. Patrick's Battalion, or Los San Patricios. A lot of the Irish defectors had experience with artillery, so the St. Patrick's Battalion became an elite artillery unit. The St. Patrick's Battalion was a very powerful asset to the Mexican forces. They played a major role in the Battle of Buena Vista in 1847. They fought fearlessly, dropping load after load of cannon fire into the American ranks, allowing for the capturing of several cannons, creating one of the few good results for Mexicans in this battle. The Irish also fought their greatest and final battle in the Battle of Churubusco, where the San Patricios were defending a gateway into the city of Mexico. The San Patricios fought courageously and without end. At one point, the Mexican army tried to raise the white flag for surrender, and every time, the San Patricios ripped the flag. They fought until their last bullets, and many until their last breath. Most of the San Patricios were killed during this battle, and the 85 that did survive were taken prisoners. The prisoners were each branded with a D for deserters on many parts of their bodies, including their faces. The captain of the St. Patrick's Battalion was even branded twice because the first D was accidentally put on upside down. 50 of these prisoners were later hanged when the Americans took control of Chapultepec Castle, making the rise of the American flag the last thing they ever saw. Some of the prisoners were pardoned, and a lot of them stayed in Mexico after the war, where they were rewarded with pensions and land that had been promised by the Mexican government in the first place. Looking back, there are mixed views on the St. Patrick's Battalion. To Americans, they are seen as weak traitors that fought out of fear. But to the Mexicans, they are seen as heroes that saw the injustice in the forceful taking of land through the bullying of a weaker power. Whichever it is, Mexico still values the acts of honors of the St. Patrick Battalions, and many honors have been given to them, including plaques, statues, and streets with their name.